The year is 1920. The date is the 25th of August.
Hello, my dear. Fancy seeing you here. I was the housekeeper in the Bishop's Palace for more years than I care to remember. The bishops are all gone, of course, and I am long retired. In fact, the Bishop's Palace is used by a school now, the Bishop Foy School. I like to drop in there most days. It's so good to be useful and to help out. And so many of the boys from that school were lost in the war. So many. 20 in total. Poor Hubert Fisher, I remember him very well. A young officer he was, killed on the first day of the Battle of the Somme. And all the others, all so young. Why they call it the Great War, I will never understand. Sure, almost 1,100 from Waterford never came home. Oh, the last few years have been so terrible. So many changes. The Great War, 1916 in Dublin, and that terrible Spanish flu pandemic starting in 1918. So many millions of people died all over the world. Here in Waterford too, of course. I remember Dr. Vincent White, working night and day helping people, and now he's the new mayor of Waterford, elected for Sinn Féin. Oh, such a gentleman he is. But there's war again here in Ireland, and soldiers on our streets. I wonder, will people in 100 years from now have the same worries? Will there be wars between great nations? And will our young be sent off to their deaths, or come home maimed and broken? Will there be peace in Ireland? I love this part of the city. I'm surrounded by history. Sometimes I even feel as old as the buildings themselves. What date are we at all?
It's 25th of August, 1920, Mum.
The 25th of August? My! Talking of history and this fine city. Would you believe it? 750 years ago, in the year 1170, the most important marriage in Irish history took place. The union of the Anglo-Norman knight Strongbow and the Irish Princess Aoife. Okay. And do you know where the wedding took place? Right here next to us, on the site of Christ Church Cathedral. Oh, I have read that that marriage changed the course of this island's and city's history for the centuries that were to follow. Sure, it was only last year, on a trip to Dublin, I slipped into the National Gallery one rainy afternoon, and there I saw it, a gigantic painting of that very marriage which took place where we stand just now. An Irish artist by the name of Daniel McAleese painted it, I believe. Oh, we really are surrounded by history. I sometimes feel, as I wander through these winding streets, that the spirits who played such an important part in this island's history still remain. Well, it seems Mrs. Richards is not at home. I'm sure she'll be back in a moment. Can't help to sit and chat while we wait. Should you like to hear the story of that famous marriage? Well, it all started in 1166 when old King Dermot MacMurrough of Leinster was deposed by the High King for the kidnapping of Derval O'Rourke 20 years earlier. Dermot was a sullen old warlord and a proud man who didn't take too kindly to that decision, nor to his betrayal by the Dubliners and other men of Leinster. So he readied himself for revenge and started looking for an army to help him reclaim his rightful throne. He got the support of King Henry of England, all right, but no men. So he spent 2 years going from castle to castle in England, looking for men to join his cause. Now, eventually, he called at the home of the Count of Strigul, Richard de Clare, a man we know better today by the name of Strongbow.
Ah, dear MacMurrough, the exiled King of Leinster. Well, the beggar king is taken to calling you around here. I did wonder when your shadow would darken my door.
I did not come here, de Clare, to be insulted by a man who was stripped of his title 10 years ago.
Out with it then, man. We both know why you came here.
I am in need of an army, de Clare, and to that end I have a proposal for you.
Proposal indeed. I have heard that you're offering up your daughter for a horde of willing sellswords.
A princess.
Not anymore.
I am offering my daughter's hand in marriage, if you can return my crown to me.
No small ask then. Go on, Leinster. You have my ears.
I am in need of men to retake the cities of Wexford, Waterford and Dublin. I need you to lay siege.
And as you know, sieges are a bloody business. What are the fate of your people?
What of it? What do a few dead peasants mean to me?
So I see you have the stomach for this.
My boy, I was waging war ever before you could walk.
It's certainly an interesting proposal. But as you may have heard, myself and His Majesty have not exactly seen eye to eye. I'm not sure how he would take to my involvement in these foreign affairs.
I have spoken with King Henry at Aquitaine. He has given his support.
Not to me. I've already lost enough of His Majesty's pleasure. I will not risk losing any more.
So you would delay? Have I not waited long enough, de Clare?
Sieges, as you know, take time. I will not risk losing my Welsh archers for your impatience. Surprise will be on our side. Once we begin this campaign and must see it through to its conclusion, there will be no time or place for missteps.
Am I to understand that you will help me, de Clare?
Perhaps. But we've not yet discussed the full terms.
We have discussed my daughter's hand.
She must be a very great beauty for you to think I'd risk so much for such a reward.
You are not aware of the customs of my land. You're not just marrying a pretty maid, but following my death, a chance at the throne itself.
So you'd promise me your throne if I won it back for you?
A chance at my throne, de Clare. The same chance as any of my sons. Is that my Aoife? A grown woman? Fiach ní short, fast the souse.
Could be, but the way I hear it, I'm soon to be naught but the wife of a foreign mercenary.
Oh, fan Numantanish. Cap me grib gachrod sucragling. We discussed all this before I left.
Dógish on tír seo ceithre bliana ó hen. You left us 4 years ago, left us to fend for ourselves. Don't you think my position might have changed? Nor sweenig tú riamh Marielle Irmsa agus Mohail. Fé mar a dúirt tú, is bannan ishme.
Aoife, your position. All our positions hang in the balance. Can't you see that there's a bigger picture to be considered? Is Clownus ma a? It is a good match.
I am not a pawn.
Oh, Aoife, tá isagan mertiging nach raibh banish riamh mar seo an éireann. We both know that a wedding like this has never taken place in our land.
You still need my consent.
And you will not give it. Did you see how easily these Normans took Wexford? There is not a force in the land that will stop them. You could be Queen of Leinster quicker than we realise.
I hear he's nothing more than an ageing earl with 2 natural children already. He has few lands of his own. He's a count and a soldier. Knock bound friensa me. Am I not a princess, father? Is this the match you think I deserve?
A soldier, yes, and soon to be much more. De Clare is a foreigner. He knows very little of our ways and customs. Who do you think that he will rely on but his darling wife?
Perhaps it is a good match then.
All I'm saying is that De Clare's men have a taste for victory. Why should we stop at Leinster when there are bigger prizes to be won by the sword?
You really think this Norman can make you High King?
Can you see me sitting on the highest seat in the land, and you, my beautiful cunning daughter, Queen of Leinster, in your own right?
What a dynasty we could be.
So, what say you? Cadi Capento? Will you be a princess of Ireland and a Norman lady, the first of your kind?
My dearest father, have I not always been a dutiful daughter?
Strongbow himself finally arrived in August of 1170, just in time to lay siege to our little city here. Following the fall of Waterford, Strongbow sent for Dermot, ready at last to meet his betrothed.
Ah, De Clare. When we struck our bargain 2 years ago, I did not think that you would deliver on it so swiftly.
Did I not promise you your kingdom?
Part of it. We still have Dublin to besiege.
Dublin will fall. Surely the others have.
MacReinald's head will be mine. For his betrayal, you have delivered on your part of the bargain. It is time that I delivered on my own.
Your Highness, I'm so humbled to finally make your acquaintance.
You are taller, sir, than I expected.
And you make for a very handsome reward, my lady.
A reward I may be, but together we make history today, and our children will be the dawn of a new Ireland.
Would that we had met in a less bloody setting then, to place so much importance on our meeting.
Perhaps where you come from, ladies shrink at the sight of a little blood. Here, though, as you will find, we do much differently. Blood and glory go hand in hand, and through it you've made me a princess again, and for that I'm thankful.
You're always a princess, madam. But I'm glad I can at least make you the Countess of Strigul, and maybe even soon the Lady of Pembroke.
Your chivalry is admirable, though I dare say I would place greater value on your honesty.
My honesty? Then let me tell you, I am simply a soldier, and an ageing one at that. I have some small lands in Wales, but all others are lost to me. All that I am of note, I gained by your hand today.
Well then, let us hope you prove worthy of my heart.
We are gathered here today to celebrate not only the union of this man and woman of 2 noble families, but the joining of 2 peoples under God in recognition of the everlasting relationship between 2 kingdoms. My Lord, are you here today of your own free will and choice?
I am.
My Lady, are you here today of your own free will and choice?
I am.
Do you take unto thyself the fair Princess Aoife, and pledge unto her before God and these witnesses to be her protector, defender, and sure resort, to honour and sustain her in sickness and in health, in fair and in foul, with all thy worldly powers, to cherish and forsaking all others, keep thee only to her as long as you both shall live?
I will.
Do you take unto thyself the noble Sir Richard de Clare to be thy rightful Lord husband, and pledge unto him before God and these witnesses to honour and cherish him, to cleave unto him in sickness and in health, in fair and in foul, to be his one true and lasting counsellor and solace, and forsaking all others, keep thee only unto him as long as ye both shall live?
I will.
Then, by the power vested in me by our Lord God and the Holy Spirit, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Tragically, the marriage itself was short-lived. They would go on to Dublin and take that city too. And just 6 years later, Strongbow died of a fever. The pair had children, though only one, a daughter, would live to rule. Isabel de Clare married William Marshall, an older man, just as her mother had done, and succeeded to the lands of Leinster and the titles of her father. She and her husband founded the town of New Ross, built Kilkenny Castle, and left their mark on this country. A year after the marriage, King Henry II himself arrived right here at Waterford, and the two kingdoms were tied together. Their histories entwined, so that neither island was ever wholly separate from the other again.
And after 750 years, here I am, another English soldier in this land, and still no peace in Ireland. My comrades and I fought and survived the worst war this world has ever seen. And now I'm in a land where many don't want us, where we're fighting our comrades in a war that any soldier will tell us we cannot win. I suppose it's always been this way. I'm only a soldier.